I was at the Puerto Rican Day Parade, 1998, and I'm wearing a pair of white and blue 95s, the ones that came out after the orange and the Volt joints.
Yeah.
And I'm walking on Broadway in the McDonald's right on 8th Street, by the Foot Locker. There.
Yeah.
So I'm walking, like we had just
legendary
left.
McDonald's.
Legendary. So we had just left the Puerto Rican Day Parade. I needed to use the bathroom. I go into McDonald's, and these two Japanese dudes follow me downstairs into the bathroom. It's a downstairs bathroom.
Right, yeah.
So these two Japanese dudes follow me downstairs, and they don't come in. So I go in the bathroom, and then I come out, and they're still there, and they're looking at me when I come out, and I'm like, yo, this is sus, right? Like, and I walk up the stairs, and they walk up after me, and then I walk out in the street, and I'm walking downtown towards Houston, and they're like 10 paces behind me. And finally I turn around, I'm like, what?
What's good, everyone? Welcome back to My First Kicks. This is episode 231, and this week I bring to you a special guest that I've been trying to get for years.
Years, bro, come on.
Years. Welcome to the podcast, Kenneth Anand.
Yeah, thank you. Good to be here. Right? Yes, absolutely.
Right, cool,
perfect.
I have a thing, like, I like saying names right correctly off the jump.
I appreciate that.
So I was like practicing in my head as I read it. I was like, I'm saying it right.
Nah, you got it. It's all love.
Yo.
Glad to be here.
Yo, huge honor having you on here,
thanks.
man. You know, actually, let's just go with your introduction. Like, for people who are not, familiar with you, how about you introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. So I'm a lawyer by trade, although I have a very unconventional pathway to becoming a lawyer in my career today. I was a sneakerhead first. We'll get into that, obviously. I was a music producer before I went to law school, and I wanted to, we can chop it up about that. I wanted to get into the hip hop game and as a producer, and obviously that was not very successful. Ended up going to law school because I got jerked on one of my production deals. And as I worked my way through law school, I got a very conventional legal job and started practicing as a litigator, as a counselor for companies in a very traditional sense. And then one day I woke up and I was like, I don't want to do this shit anymore. And I made a very hard pivot, which we can talk about in a minute. But, that was basically more aligning with my passions, which were sneakers, hip hop, streetwear. Now I've created this very unique niche for myself as a lawyer and as a business person, as an author, as a professor.
Yeah.
And these are all things that I do in the realm of sneakers.
Man, you've been killing it because, ever since like I got to start making this podcast, I remember when Sneaker Law 1 came out.
Yeah.
And the
OG
in the Chicago colorway, the bread colorway.
Bro, the bread.
Yeah. And so everybody around the sneaker community was like, yo, you ever seen this book? You ever seen this book? And that's how I ended up finding you. And then I added you on LinkedIn because I thought that was the way to go. You're a lawyer. And I was like, all right.
Yeah.
Let me pull up on the LinkedIn.
Yeah, business side.
Yeah. I was like, let me see if maybe the track record will be a little, And so I remember just like hitting you up and I didn't get a response then. But this is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I ran into you a couple times at ComplexCon. Yeah,
definitely. Yeah. You were in some Marvel fleece or something.
Yes, that was the last one for sure. That Marvel fleece.
I love it. I could pick you out from across the room, bro. Like there's hot. You got that Venom shit on.
Yeah, I did. I sold so many Venom fleeces that day, man. Because everybody's like, "Yo, they got a booth here," and I'm like, "Nah, you got to go online."
Yeah.
But I remember that specific ComplexCon. I felt like I was like, all right, now I know you fuck with me now, because you were like, yeah, a bunch of people always ask me to do their podcast, but I didn't know you were like, you did this is your shit. I was just like, yeah, this is me.
No, I've a lot of people do ask me, and I have to be judicious with my time.
Yeah.
Because if you water down your message, it's like whatever. But like I have been watching you for a minute, and you do your thing, and like. It's not really about the guests for me. It's about your approach and your subject matter, and also like your energy, which I really enjoy. And I was like, man, if I could come on here and crack some jokes, like then it's all love.
Yeah. I mean, look, I try to make this more about the person in front of me also, because it's just like when it comes to sneakers, and I'm pretty sure we definitely gonna get into this, we're at this point now, especially like after 2020, where it felt less about the people collecting the sneakers and more about the brands pushing what the story should be.
Yeah, facts.
And so I was very big on like, let me do that.
Let's get it back to the essence.
Yeah, exactly. What really got us into this, you know?
Yes,
and
yes.
So because
people
of
that rock their kicks and,
yeah.
you know, are not afraid to like destroy the residual value.
Exactly. I mean, we can definitely get into that too. But we're here to answer the question that I ask everybody each week. And that question is, what's your first kicks? What's that first pair of sneakers you absolutely needed to have?
Oh, man. Well, there were many that I absolutely needed to have. But the first ones I actually got to have because we're talking way back in the day when my parents, like, they didn't understand why Jordan 3s and 4s were so expensive and what the hype was. They finally broke down and bought me the Jordan 5s in the grape, ice, and teal colorway.
Crazy.
So I'm dating myself, but this was 1990, and like, yo, it was peak. It was peak era, and it was a core childhood memory for me. I remember they bought them for me when I was at summer camp. We were on a break, and they were in the Nike store up in Freeport, Maine. So I was up there for camp, and we go into the store. And they're there, just on the shelf. Like, it was that easy, you know? And not only were they there, but like the whole jumpsuit was there. Like, and I wanted it all. Yeah. I wanted it all. But I had to settle for some teal champion shorts and a purple champion shirt. Yeah. And I had the whole fit, and I brought them to school. Every day I'd take a toothbrush to them. Like, you know, they were just my babies. And like, I snapped a Polaroid of them. And I still have that Polaroid. I don't have the kicks, but I still have the Polaroid.
They recently just came out again, though.
Yeah, I know. I didn't cop. I should. I have the drop prior to that. I forget, that was maybe 2014.
Not the black grapes, right?
No. I had the black grapes, but the last, white grapes.
Okay.
But yeah, I just remember seeing them on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and I would be tight because there was this one guy in my high school that he would have. I mean, he had the ones, he had the twos, the threes, the fours. And I was like, I gotta get in this, man. Like, I'm tired of hating on bro, you know? And so I finally got my 5s, but they were so crispy white. Like, I was so nervous about them. I think if I had like a black cement 4, I'd have been a little bit more relaxed.
Yeah. There's something, I've touched on this a lot, but like something about that white shoe when you're a kid, and then like your parents being like, you only get one. Yeah. And then you're just looking at it like, I gotta keep this as white as possible.
Yeah. And you know, it's like, I didn't come from a lot of money, so like that was it, you know. And I know people today, they're like, "Oh, why don't you beat your shoes up? Like, why, you know, a good pair of sneakers should be broken in." Yeah. No, like if I have a little bit of dirt on mine, I move on to the next pair.
Damn, that's crazy. I mean, I'd still rock them. Nah, there's been way too, like, for some reason this has been happening to me way too often, way too often. Yeah. I'll be drinking one night, and I get beer all over these sneakers, man. Yo, there was one, literally the last time I went to go see Fantastic Four on Saturday, and I'm sitting in the 4D chairs, right? With a cup.
Oh, the experience with the shit.
Yeah, I'm just there with the, you know, and I had a beer on me, man. Right? And I'm thinking like, oh yeah, I'm good. Yo, this thing just like started flinging me around. Yo,
that's too much.
And I had my off-white dunks on, bro. The 3 out of 50s. Okay. And so I'm like, I'm getting beer all over. I'm like, damn it. Like, I'm trying to like evade while the chair is like moving. Yeah. Man, But it's
How was the movie though?
The movie's fire. Yeah. I love it. Top five Marvel movie.
I've been losing steam on Marvel movies. So.
Yeah, that's gonna happen. Yeah, you know, I like the Thunderbolts though. I thought Thunderbolts was
it was fun. Yeah, it was fun. I don't know why I got such a harsh review, but we don't need to go into that.
Welcome to my first.
We
movie
were talking about Marvel though, because of the gear. Yeah, exactly. So it's very on brand.
So like, where'd you get your sense of style, and like where'd you grow up?
Yeah, I grew up in Montclair, New Jersey.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, just outside of the city. My parents met at NYU. And raised us in Montclair because the city was too expensive. And I mean, it was a fly town, you know, like Montclair was very unique because it had Upper Montclair and then it had Montclair. And I was sort of in the middle, and all of my boys were into hip hop and Tribe and De La Native Tongues, and then we, of course, we had Naughty by Nature, like right down the block. It was not uncommon to see Naughty by Nature or Queen Latifah pull up in the record store in our town.
That's insane.
Yeah, and so like, a lot of that style just came from watching early hip hop videos. Like I couldn't afford Bally jeans or like Dapper Dan get-ups and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But we could throw on a Carhartt, and we could wear a starter jacket. You know, I think I had a Detroit Pistons one.
Hey, any of it. Look, obviously we know the Charlotte Hornets did the numbers.
Yes, they did.
I was always a fan of the Raiders because it was just a simple black, black and silver. That was fire. Yeah. And then I'm a Giants fan, so sadly.
Yeah, I got a Detroit Pistons one because it went with a lot of my stuff, and that was what was available. But then also like big was Columbia jackets in our town. Columbia jackets were fly, and yeah, man, we put together whatever we could.
Nah, that's dope. Like hip hop is so, the community aspect of it, right? I feel like it does blend into like sneakers and like how getting fly is like I always tell people like, it's more of a state of mind. Like it does, if you are able to match it, like with the bank account, then it's next level. Yeah. But you do have to meet that halfway.
I mean, real ones know, like, it's not about the money. You can get fly on any budget, like, and it's all about how you piece it together and how you wear it, your confidence and stuff like that. And to this day, like, I'm not a luxury sneaker guy. Like, I just don't.
I really don't understand it.
I don't participate in it just because it doesn't connect with me on that level. And I represent some luxury brands, and I just like $1,500 for a pair of sneakers that don't fit well and are very uncomfortable and heavy. Yeah. It's just not my vibe. And I don't know, I just connect with that feeling of having like an athletic shoe, performance shoe, things like that. So
Virgil Air Force Ones though?
Yeah. I don't have any Virgil Air Force Ones. I did get lot 41, I think, and I flipped them during the pandemic because they were going for a lot. And I have a lot of the Virgil Abloh shoes, but you mean the LV joints?
Yeah, I'm talking about the LV joints.
I have those.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's a $1,500 shoe right there.
I have those. Actually, it was $3,000 at retail.
Oh yeah, you're right. $3,000 retail.
Yeah, and it was a splurge, bro. It was a splurge, and explaining that to my wife was not easy. But they're obviously worth more than that now.
I wish I was a fly on the wall. That conversation. Like,
I mean, my wife she's just over it now. She's just like, whatever. Like, Kenneth's just doing his thing. Also, like, they're qualified business deductions for me because of what I do. True. So technically they weren't $3,000, but IRS, if you're listening,
they're actually really heavy listeners of the podcast.
There's many IRS auditors that are in the field.
I actually live across one of the buildings, and like for real, and I'm like, imagine like somebody just there, like, okay,
yeah.
What was the number? What's the number on this episode?
Duly noted.
Yeah.
Jumping in here just to say I appreciate you for listening to this episode with Kenneth, and I just wanted to remind y'all to like, subscribe, and if you want to get shouted out at the end of each and every episode, please sign up to the Patreon at patreon.com/myfirstkicks. I'm always going to hook it up with exclusive stuff. And wow, I fumbled on that. And, trying to build that ecosystem out, as I keep saying each week. So hit that up, patreon.com/myfirstkicks. Peace. Oh, well, no, back to the episode.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, it's crazy to hear how far hip hop actually stretched into New Jersey. I mean, tri-state area. I mean, you name people, a lot of people. Because like when I think about my favorite group is Tribe, so like I'm thinking like how far Native Tongues actually stretched and like to go to New Jersey because of.
I mean, Jersey's not that far, bro.
I mean, no, I'm just saying. Cause it's like this is before we like it was just like
no, I know you're right. You're right. This is the Boulevard of Linden.
Yeah.
But like I think it was early.
Cause like my bad before I cut you off.
Yeah.
But I remember Search told a story.
Yeah.
On like he did like an MF Doom podcast. He was like, I used to bike from the middle of nowhere, Brooklyn, or like he was like Coney Island all the way to Long Island. I was like, what are you talking? That's not possible.
Yeah. There's no route. There's no route.
There's no route. So that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, hip hop does stretch, but like that didn't seem like an actual real thing for people to be like, yeah, me and Fife used to hang out all the time every week because he'd come with me to Montclair, New Jersey. Like that, that sounds way too far.
No, I mean, we were a short bus ride into Port Authority. I used to come in all the time. Sometimes I didn't tell my parents. I would, you know, just hop on the bus and go in. I would go down to Fat Beats and I would hang out and like, you know, I remember old Lyricist lounge events I went to, bro. Yeah. Like, I saw J. Rue the Damager perform.
Wow.
You know, like just core moments. Group Home, the Rec Room, like just all these different places we used to go. And I was such a fiend for it. It's funny, the way it all came about was my brother one day brought home the record for Aerosmith, Walk This Way.
Yeah.
And, you know, it had Run DMC on it. And like, we had to pick a side. Like, it was like, you know, he's a Yankee fan, I'm a Met fan. Yeah. He picked Aerosmith and I picked Run DMC. And that's just the way it stuck. And it fit for both of us. Like, he's still very much into rock and punk, and you probably would vibe with him on that.
No, both, man. And I'm also a Mets fan. So
all right. Yeah.
I'll be on your side.
Yeah. So, but that was the way it was in my house. It was like, if my brother's doing it, like, I can't.
You're doing the opposite.
Nah.
So he's over there in loafers and you with the Jordans.
Nah. He was over there in like Doc Martens. And,
okay. Yeah. Or Converses.
Yeah. Maybe.
Big Converse guy.
Yeah. I had Chuck Taylors before I got my J's because they were cheap. And I remember you could roll up in the Pathmark and buy shell toes. And I never bought them because I was like, why would anybody buy kicks from Pathmark?
Pathmark is crazy.
They were like $20. And I remember they just had them in a bin, no boxes, just shell toes.
It's crazy.
It's crazy work. Lackawanna Plaza in Montclair, New Jersey.
Shout out Pathmark, which probably it turned into like a condo or something.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I haven't been back in a minute, bro.
So like your journey from that, where like now I gotta know, how'd you get into producing? Was producing first? Like, were you like, yo, I love hip hop. Hip hop is me.
Yeah,
I'm jumping straight into this.
I was really into computers at the time, and my uncle helped me build my first computer when I was really young. And then I started like researching computers, and there was like a program called Cool Edit. Like it was the early like Fruity Loops.
Yeah.
And Cool Edit, you could take waveforms and you could record them through your audio card, and you could splice them and lay them over shit. And I was doing it. It was the early, like some people had 2-track machines, some people had SP12s.
Right. I
had Cool Edit. It's like the nerdiest version of making beats.
Yeah.
But me and my boys, we still do this all together. And then eventually we would bounce stuff down to 2-track, 4-track. And we were just making fire beats until I invested in my first sampling keyboard. And I just remember like studying that all the time.
Yeah.
And my archetype was DJ Premier.
Yeah. Shout out Primo.
That was like, if I can make a beat like Premier, I was good.
That's correct. I mean, he's a legend.
Yeah.
I met him. He's the last person I met before the pandemic.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
And I literally joked with him. I was like, because I was outside of Sirius XM and he came. I was like, yo, what's up? And then we talked and I was just like, oh, you know, I would dap you up, but you know, they're talking about not spreading this thing that's going around. And he's just like, man, fuck that. I don't believe none of that shit. Next day, nobody's outside. It's it. It's over. That was the last person I met.
Yeah, and then you see him on the what was the Versus?
Yeah,
against the RZA. That was so dope.
That was crazy, man. Versus was a time, man.
A time.
I wish they could, because even though like the Dipset versus the Locks,
and
how crazy
that was overproduced.
Insane,
but still incredible.
But yeah, there has to be a way to bring that back in a venue.
I just remember like there was one group that was prepared and one that was not.
Definitely not.
We don't have to get into it anymore, you know, because I know some of those dudes. So.
I'm adjacent to one side already.
Yeah.
You know, shout out, it's the real. So like, I mean, I'm gonna ask because every time I've spoken to somebody that starts music, they have to give up sneakers, or like they're selling their sneakers to fuel music.
Yeah.
Were you able to do both?
You know, I was pretty broke. My book's about to fall. I was pretty broke in college, and so sneakers were not really my focus.
Mm-hmm.
I was into buying records. Like I was really supporting my record and my crates so that I could have samples and stuff like that. So my kick game in college wasn't as good as it could be. But I was getting my hands on some Helly Hansen jackets and like the gear was right.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, every now and then I get like an Air Max 95, 96.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I got a crazy 95 story, which we gotta touch on. Like, I was at the Puerto Rican Day Parade, 1998, and I'm wearing a pair of white and blue 95s, the ones that came out after the orange and the Volt joints.
Yeah. And
I'm walking on Broadway in the McDonald's right on 8th Street, you know, by the Foot Locker there.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm walking, like we had just
legendary
left.
McDonald's.
Yeah, legendary. So we had just left the Puerto Rican Day Parade. I needed to use the bathroom. I go into McDonald's, and these two Japanese dudes follow me downstairs into the bathroom. It's a downstairs bathroom.
Right, yeah.
So these two Japanese dudes follow me downstairs, and they don't come in. So I go in the bathroom, and then I come out, and they're still there, and they're looking at me when I come out, and I'm like, yo, this is sus, right? Like, and I walk up the stairs, and they walk up after me, and then I walk out in the street, and I'm walking downtown towards Houston, and they're like 10 paces behind me. And finally I turn around, I'm like, what? I'm just like, well, if I have to fight, like like we're doing this, you know? Yeah. And they're like, where'd you get your sneakers? And I was like, excuse me? And this was before, bro. This was like nobody was on that reselling shit.
Yeah.
And they were like, your sneakers, your Air Maxes. And I was like, I don't know. I got them at like a Foot Locker, bro. But like, they don't make these anymore.
Yeah.
And they were like, can we buy? And I was like, buy what? And they were like, those. And I said, what am I going to wear if you buy my sneakers?
Yeah.
And they were like, I don't know. And I was like, here, come with me. And we walked into the Foot Locker.
Yeah.
I kid you not. They bought me the Air Max 98s. I put the new ones on my feet, which felt amazing because I was spending all day in those 95s.
Yeah.
My feet were cooked.
Yeah.
I had a fresh pair on. They took my 95s, put them in the box for the 98s, and dipped happy as shit.
What?
It was the most wild exchange ever. And I came home because I was staying with my parents in between breaks from college. And I came home and explained it to my mom. She wouldn't believe me. She was like, you just wouldn't need an excuse to buy another pair of shoes. And I was like, no, dead ass. Like, this happened. And they were on it early.
They were super on it.
And that pair now, bro, like, and I thought they were beat because, you know, I'm just OCD and I wore them at the Puerto Rican Day Parade, probably, you know, scuffed them up or whatever.
Yeah.
But we didn't care back then. And they took them and they dipped, and I didn't even know what was happening until like 4 or 5 years later. And I was like, these motherfuckers.
Them joints were sitting in nowhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
They were definitely, Nigo was looking at them joints, man.
Yeah, probably Nigo sent him on a mission. Yeah. Just stop any dude.
Come back with it.
Yeah. Just hang around this area and just shake down anybody you can.
Shake down anybody. We need all 95s, US exclusives.
But I was so hyped. I got those 98s, and the 98s were like, they were all right.
Yeah. Not the 95s, man. It's crazy. So, that's such a crazy.
Isn't that wild?
That's so crazy that like that can happen, because I have a similar story, but I told the dude no. I was wearing 2015 Bread 4s before they reissued again, and I went to Paxon and the dude.
Paxon.
I went to Paxon and the dude working there was like, yo, I've been looking for Bread 4s for like the past 3-4 years. They don't really be coming out. And this is like 2018 or whatever. The year before they actually came out again. And then he's like, yo, off your feet right now, 300. And I'm like, these are my first Bread 4s.
Yeah.
Bread 4s are
still a little low for that time, I think.
Nah, I think it was because they were cooked. Like
they were?
I had the, you know, when you wear them too much on the 4s and then the inside comes off, that was peeled off, correct? Like off.
Yeah.
And so I looked down and I'm like, nah, because I love these.
Yeah.
The 4s are my favorite model.
Yeah.
Hell, I told him no. But like, that's like, I feel like it doesn't happen all the time.
No, it doesn't.
But if it does, I do feel like you kind of got to be like,
it's rare that somebody will approach you and ask you for the shoes off your feet.
Yeah.
That's a bold move.
Bold move.
Because what are you doing, man?
Yeah.
You know,
you need them that bad. You're like, and even me in my head, I'm just thinking like, my feet probably stink. These sneakers thing. Yeah. And you're like, a hot shoe. You want these hot shoes.
I remember when I was working at Yeezy and Ye gave Khaled the pair of 700s off, or seven. Yeah, it was the 700 V3s.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And then like he hopped on the private jet. So like he didn't have far to go. And probably had another pair on the jet. So there's not a big deal. But like you and I in the street, what are we doing? We don't have a jet.
No
just
jet.
Waiting. You know what I mean? So, but I thought that was a fire move because Cal was on Nike and he looked so happy.
Yeah.
It's like the time when Bronny Jr. got caught at Christmas opening a pair of Yeezys on IG.
Yeah.
And I know the people at Nike were just tight. Like, this is not supposed to be in the marketing video, you know?
I mean, to me, because I don't think that way, and I know that like there's a lot of like talk about that stuff, but it comes from, I don't know how I could say this. It comes from an outside view.
Yeah.
It's like people that are, I'm very curious what you think about this. When people who have like no real insight are just giving insight they are.
Yeah, their opinion.
Yeah. But they're saying it like, oh, I don't know if such and such brand is going to be happy with this.
Right.
But there's just no like, there's obviously incidental stuff. But like, yeah, I mean, I don't know.
I mean, I know a little bit more about deals than most people.
Yeah.
But you know, these things are going to happen. You know, if your kid wants a pair of Yeezys, you got to lace them.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like, but that's what I'm saying. Like, cause like, where's that incident with like Kai on?
Oh yeah.
And he opened up
was he opening the dot swooshes or something?
No. He was opening up a pair of.
Oh, it was another brand.
I think it was AE1s or something like that. It was.
Yeah,
it was
I remember he was hyped, right?
Yeah.
And they didn't like how hyped
it was. Asics. Asics sent him stuff, and then he opened it up on stream, and then he was like,
yeah.
And then he like put it. He was like, oh my god, thank you. And then he's like. Oh, and then he's like, oh, no, yeah. And he put him to the side.
Yeah. And then he opened the dot swooshes and he was like, yeah, these are cool.
Yeah.
We all knew he wasn't that hyped.
No, yeah. So that I do feel like as a person who just like, I mean, you know, I do this podcast and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't have brand deals, so I don't know about that idea of like brand loyalty in terms of like payola.
Right.
But I think it's like when you are the outside looking in and just be like, all right, cool, I guess.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. You know, I think what it comes down to is like good product's good product. And people get hyped with it, you know, even if they're endorsed by another brand. You know, it's crazy. Like, I mean, and this is part of like what we do with sneaker law and like what I do as a lawyer is like, you got to understand the deal terms, and people pay a lot of money for you to be on their brand. They don't want you in the hemisphere of another competing brand. It's just not, can't happen.
But it's like, it's hard because everything is everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yeah. It's not like, because I always break this down to like FUBU in the beginning. Right?
Yeah.
Where it's just like, I feel like, shout out David Johns.
Yeah.
But like that whole, his process of like, I got to get as much popping people into my stuff.
Yeah.
Right. And as long as they wear it while they're being, you know, as they're blowing up, then I'm going to blow up too.
Yeah.
And now we're into this era where that method is used by everybody.
Yes.
So there's like ways you got to be like, okay, get it into this shot here or put it here. And it's like, you know.
Yeah, it's very commercial.
Yeah.
And you know, a lot of times you don't know if somebody's really rocking it because they like it or because they've been paid to rock it. And there are actually laws that govern that kind of thing. Like technically, if I'm on IG and I'm rocking somebody's kicks that they gave me, it should be a sponsored post.
Right.
But that's lame as hell. You know? Like, you know what I mean? Nobody wants to do that. Like,
no, hell no.
You know, you just wanted to be like, oh, you know, I got these new kicks. But luckily, I'm not an influencer. I don't get paid to, you know.
No, but you got this great book, and we touched on.
Yes, exactly.
we touched on,
you know, hashtag sneaker law.
Yeah, hashtag for this. If you see this clip, just hit us with the hashtag on that.
Yeah, exactly. Paid sneaker law promoter.
Yeah, yes, I'm gonna put, you know, sponsored post on this one.
Yeah.
But so then, you talked about the Puerto Rican Day Parade.
Yes.
And so I want to know, where was that moment where you were like, all right, producing's not for me anymore? Did you have like
I could tell you exactly when. Like, I actually, when I was in law school, I was still making beats, and it was like a hobby, like an outlet, you know. And it's still like I always try to have creative outlets because they get you through tough times, like stressful things. And you know, the making beats was always something that I kept around. And I actually had this amazing meeting with Leor Cohen when I was in, you know, a lawyer, and I thought I was going to be in the music business, and it didn't pan out. And this was just like the last straw. Like I had been disappointed so many times with this gatekeeping in the music business. That I was just like, F it. And I stopped. And I just leaned into being a lawyer. And then, you know, ironically, the things that I do in law now have led me back to the music business, but not in a music lawyer way, but in like a business and a brand deal way, and working with celebrities on their business ventures. And, you know, I'm doing it my way now. But the reason why I went to law school was because I produced the soundtrack for a film that won at Sundance, and I didn't get any credit. So I was like, bro, like I got to learn how to protect my rights and how to advocate, if not for myself, if I'm not going to be that dude, advocate for other creatives. And that's always been a thing for me. Even growing up, my brother's an artist. I have other artists in my family, and artists just don't have people in their corner typically. And I've seen it at every level, and I've worked for many different levels of creativity, from, you know, people just starting out to the highest levels. And it's just mind-blowing how people get taken advantage of at every turn. Even when you think that they know the game by now, they still find ways to take advantage of them and screw them. And it's just my thing. Like, I feel like that's my purpose on this earth, is to help creatives out.
Because there's not many. There's so much predatory. I had this thought earlier today, or just like there's way too much predatory people around, people that are just trying to create. And so I was recently thinking, just like, you know, when it comes to building an app, everybody's always trying to, like, it's never just to solve a problem. It's kind of, hey, we're just trying to milk what's already been, you know, a correct process or whatever. Or they're not really trying to help creativity. Adding AI to something is not going to really help creativity, right? It's more trying to eliminate it. And so that creates less creatives.
Correct. Well, the creatives are usually the first movers, but that doesn't mean that they're the most successful. Like they do something unique and innovative, then someone comes along and says, oh, I like that idea, let me commercialize that. And so, you know, what I try to do, and what we've tried to do with Sneaker Law, is educate people on how to protect their properties, their intellectual properties, set up their businesses the right way, plan so that, you know, you don't have to be me. You don't have to be all nerded out on law, but you should know enough to be dangerous. Like every creative should know a little bit about law. It's like, you know, you're not going to be a Formula One driver, but you got to know how to drive a car. You know what I'm saying? So like, why do people approach law in that way? Because most lawyers appear to be more intellectual. They try to talk over you. They try to tell you, you can't learn this because, you know, I'm really fancy and I went to a good school and all this shit. It's not about that. Like anybody can learn the basics of law, especially if they read Sneaker Law, because we just break it down in a fun way. But we saw a void there, and we were like, this shouldn't be this way. Like it's just gatekeeping. It's access to things that everybody should know. And so we've tried to democratize that and make sure that people know enough so that they can protect themselves. And then when shit gets really serious, then you hire a lawyer, you know? But like, you know, everybody's like, oh, you know, I need to trademark this and I need to patent that. And like, they just have no idea what they're talking about. And then they get screwed and they're like, but I thought I had these rights. And it's like, no, you know, like you should know these basic principles. So, you know, and it's just frustrating because I see it happen all the time with a lot of my friends, with a lot of my, you know, people that I look up to and respect. And it's tough, you know, like even every year we go to the BFF, you know, and like I hear people talking about like, I got screwed with this and somebody took my design and used it for that. And I'm just like, man, it should just be more a part of basic creative education. You know,
I will be there this year. So
same. I'll see you there, bro.
We out there. It's very interesting because I mean, I keep coming back to how people are predatory because I think a lot of people see other people as like rungs on a ladder instead of just like, yo, we all can climb this ladder together.
Yeah.
You know? And so like, you know, you thinking, and this has been like the thing that I've been preaching to people is like, you are of service. And I think you get more out of life if you are of service.
100%.
And so the idea of just kind of being like, nah, this is all me. At one point, it's just going to be you.
Yeah,
it's
going to come
yourself.
back around. It's going to come back around. Yeah, I think, I don't know, man. I think when people create something really cool and innovative, there's always going to be leeches out there that can't get into those circles because they're just not that. Mm-hmm. So they're like, well, I need to steal my way in or lie my way in or cheat my way in or whatever. And they might get there. They might get to the table, but eventually they're going to be found out. Like I believe. The unfortunate part is that most of the time, somebody already gets hurt by the time they're found out. You know?
Or they leave a trail of just hurt people.
Yeah. So, you know, we don't have to waste our breath on those people.
Nah, for sure. I do want to say, because you mentioned celebrity, it was still I talk about this to a lot of people.
Yeah.
So we were at the Staples opening.
Yeah.
we're at the Staples opening, right? And I run into Kenneth. I'm like, yo, what's good, yo?
Just out on the street out in Mercer.
Yeah. I said, what's good? And he's just like, yo, he turns to me. He's just like, yo, how you gonna get in? I'm just like, I mean, they said I'm on the list or whatever.
Right.
And then I see somebody and he's trying to get in. And at the same time, you go, oh, yo, Ja Rule here. And I go, what? And he's like, yeah, that's my man. I'm like, what? And he's just like, and then you introduced me to Ja Rule.
Yes.
And he's like, yeah, this is my man Haas. I'm like,
yeah, he literally pulled up in the Escalade or something. Yeah.
And I was like, I've been telling people ever since that, yo, Kenneth just introduced me. I got introduced to Ja Rule. It wasn't like
Yeah, that's the homie. That was just funny because he just pulled up out of nowhere and rolled the window down and we were talking. But you actually got me in.
I know, yeah.
Yeah. So that like it was all love. It was like, that's what I'm saying. It's like if you're in service to someone, like it all comes back around, you know? Like I'm not gonna stand there with you and I know you and not introduce you to someone that I also know.
Yeah.
That's rude.
Yeah.
And my parents taught me better than that.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not like this is a celebrity and I can't introduce you to this person. Like it shouldn't be like that.
Nah, yeah, but you know how people are.
I do.
Do you have a story about how somebody?
No. I mean, I do, but like, you know, I don't talk negatively or
no.
It's just gossip.
I meant more of like being in a room where somebody introduced you and you didn't think that you'd ever be in a room with that person.
I mean, I've been in many rooms that I didn't think I'd ever be in the room with that person. Like,
what's your favorite one then?
You know, I don't know. I can't rank them, man. Like my life is so blessed. Like I find myself on a daily basis just being shocked and awed at like where things have gone. Mm-hmm. And I think part of that is because of my faith. Part of that is because of my desire to keep myself around things that I love. Yeah. And I've created this sort of cocoon for myself where it's just like, if I don't like it, I don't work on it. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I learned that, pretty early on that like, if you surround yourself with the things that you love, like you're a constant magnet for those things. Yeah. And, I don't really like to talk about who this, that, and like, it's just like, cause I'm a dude that needs to move behind the scenes. Yeah. People hire me for my confidences and for my, for my professionalism and credibility and all that stuff. So like, if I'm out here in the street just blabbing, like, and I talk a lot, like, but I'm a professor, like, yeah. Occasionally I agree to a podcast here and there.
Look, this was not a ploy to get a crazy, to get a crazy name out of you. It was more of just like, the realization of you were in that room, versus being it like, oh yeah, front page of National Inquisitor type of shit,
right. Like no, I worked with Ye for a long time, and that was still mind blowing, and it's unfortunate that like things wild out like after a certain point, but how
did that come about? Like, how did you get that opportunity?
It was one of these things that I kind of seized the moment. There was no lawyer at Yeezy at that time, and I sort of threw a Hail Mary out there to a friend of mine who was also a client who was working for Kanye. And he was like, yeah, like let's rock. And actually first he said, are you sure you want to quit a comfy law job to come work for this guy? And
were you like straight law?
I was a partner in a law firm. Yeah.
Partner?
Yeah, in a New York City law firm.
Suits style? Your name was on the door?
Harvey Specter. Yeah. My name was not on the door. My name was not on the door, but like I left behind a very traditional job to go work at the hottest brand in the world at the time, and you like I didn't even blink. Like it was just like it wasn't even a question. And I didn't know if I was gonna last 3 years or 3 days. You know what I mean? Because there are people that have lasted, perhaps less.
Yeah.
And it just worked out, and I think that made me realize that like, all the shit that I had learned before I got to law school is now entirely relevant on top of the things that I know as a lawyer.
Yeah.
And I had been practicing 15 years at the time. I was not a spring chicken. I was very senior. I knew exactly what the F I was doing, but it validated the fact that on the business side, like I knew way more about this business of Yeezy than I would ever give myself credit for. It was like, man, like this is what I've been studying my whole life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like just the culture and, and then, like when I, like on the music side, I wasn't involved in the music sort of, the music that he had his own lawyer for that, but I knew all the shit that was going on.
That's crazy.
5 albums in 5 weeks.
Yeah.
Nuts. It was nuts. What a time.
Yo, that was crazy. The hot streak. That was woo.
Yeah, it was wild.
That was crazy. And so I guess my like muddiness around Yeezy was like the brand itself was the brand itself, right? You weren't like necessarily working directly with like Adidas or were you?
No, I was. Yeah. I mean, part of what we did at the brand was administer the Adidas licensing deal. And, I was heavily involved in that. That was a big contract and, I had to interpret it and I had to advise on it. And then also like, I had the fortune of working with some of the people on the Adidas Yeezy team who were really good people and put a lot of hard work in and broke their backs for the amazing product that we see out there today. It was definitely a group effort,
Oh, for sure. Yeah. He did he had Bima on there. Shout out Bima.
Yeah, bro.
Bima.
That's the homie.
Yeah. Sheck West was in that team.
Salehi, Jeff Henderson.
Yeah. You got
great people. That's the thing. Like, if you look at like, he's the Quincy Jones of this shit. Like he brings together amazing people and makes beautiful albums, makes beautiful brands and, all these things. And in that sense, like for me to be there at that time and to be in that atmosphere of like all this great talent, it was, you couldn't compare it.
How did that inspire you into your next move after?
I mean, I learned a lot there. And I think this was part of the deal. It was like, from that point on, I said, I need to lean into this unique skill set that I have, which is, sort of bridging the gap between culture and law and, sort of the block to the boardroom, that kind of thing. And like,
that's hard.
It's hard, but like,
I mean like that saying is hard.
Yeah.
I need that on a shirt. Like block to the boardroom is a hard.
Tough, right?
Yeah, that's tough.
It's probably trademarked already, but if not, we'll go half on it.
Let's get it.
But like I realized that I was more of a translator than anything because I had this gift of explaining things that were very complicated and perhaps certain creative people might not want to, deal with that kind of stuff. And I was able to present it to them in a way that they understood. And that was just further legitimacy for the way we went about sneaker law. It was like, man, like, we have this gift of like distilling complex legal concepts and bringing them to people that should have that knowledge. And so the stuff that I learned at Yeezy was and basically from Kanye was that if you surround yourself with things you love at all times, you never feel like you're working.
Yeah.
So this was a dude that would like bounce from, the atelier, and he was like, he'd be like improving socks or like, or the next hoodie. And then he'd move into like his architecture space, and then he'd move to his music studio and like drop a verse or like, and I saw that and I was like, how do I do that in my own life?
Right.
Like, I'm not a international hip hop star, but like, how do I create that sort of cocoon of enjoyment in whatever I do? And the result of that was taking on a lot of things that I was interested in that didn't turn out to be lucrative, turning down things that I wasn't interested that were lucrative.
Yeah.
And, now I've kind of blended it together in a place that I'm very happy with, but like it takes some trial and error, and I think that's the thing. We always look like Ye is not afraid to fail because there is no failure in his mind. It's just like, all right, well, I'm just experimenting, and I think that's an important lesson is like as we go throughout our careers, taking these leaps and doing these weird things or like taking risks, you're always worried about how other people perceive you. If you erase that from the equation, it's all experience.
Yeah,
for
sure.
It's the ego and the pride that makes you think that like, oh, if I try this out and I fail, that dude is gonna be there to remind me like, oh, what's up with your little thing? You know?
Ralph, you got Ralph from The Simpsons going, ha ha.
Exactly. What happened to your little album?
Yeah.
It's like, what are you doing?
Exactly.
So like, I don't have that mindset anymore. I just try things that excite me and that make me passionate. So, that was a big takeaway. And I've tried a lot of different things over the years. I'm still trying stuff,
As you should.
You should.
I think we always learn out of failure. It's when you think because like my thing is I've always tell people you just got to keep pivoting. Eventually the sofa's coming down. The sofa's coming down the stairs if you keep pivoting.
Correct. Correct. Yeah. You just got to find that right angle.
Yeah, exactly.
I get you.
But
I've moved a couple couches in Brooklyn apartments.
Yeah. Yo, good luck.
Yeah.
But it's like that idea of like I was selling this and I got into this big argument about it, but it's just like, people feel like if they get a no, or if like somebody tells them no or something like that now, or somebody tells them that somebody else got a no in something that you're doing similar, right? These are scenarios that we always hear or have
rejection's tough.
Yeah. But it also, them telling you that is going to deter you from doing that thing. Yeah. And it's kind of just like, nothing's going to stop me from being creative. Nothing's going to stop me from recording this podcast, right?
Yeah.
Like, a guest doesn't come on the episode. Okay, I'll just find another one. Like I'm gonna continue wanting to do this because I'm gonna want to do this. But, people are afraid to fail like once you get over
and how that will look.
Yeah. Like, but once you get over that hump of like, I tried, and you're like, all right, cool. Now I know. Now I can either do it better next time or keep going, or like, but you have to get over that hump and betting on yourself or like believing in yourself is probably the hardest thing that anybody can do.
It's very hard and it takes a lot. And it's like something that I still have to practice every day, because there's sometimes you have doubts and you're just like, am I doing the right thing or not? There was a post that Jason Maiden made a couple weeks ago where he was like, you should create in silence and like, don't speak too much about things that you're working on before they happen because, we should be doers, not talkers. And that really resonated with me. When Jared and I were writing Sneaker Law during the pandemic, we just put our heads down and like, we just did it. And I think if we had known where this book was going to go before we finished it, we might have never finished it.
Yeah.
Because we would have tried to make it too perfect or we would have been too fearful of where it would have gone. Like our first lecture that we did on Sneaker Law after the book drop was at Harvard Law School.
Yeah, I saw.
There's nowhere to go but down from there. You know what I mean? Like we've gone all places, but like, that was like, it shocked us. I'm looking at like, why am I even in this building? You know what I mean? Like how'd they let me in?
Yeah.
But when you have something special and you never know where your art's going to go. And it's only in your own head, the limitations that you put on it.
Yeah.
And so sometimes you can talk yourself out of the end result before you even get there. And the beauty of it was we wrote that book during the pandemic and we were on lockdown and we had no one to talk to about it. No one and it was just me and him on Zoom, just like banging the shit out.
Yeah.
And before we know it, we had it and it was done. We launched a pre-order and it came out 3 months later and it was like, oh shit, like this is way better than we thought.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because we had a vision. And if you have a vision, if you stay true to that vision, you shouldn't worry what the outside noise is.
No, the only thing you can do is actually try to make that vision come true, right? Because if not, it's just gonna sit there. Like it's
crazy. You think the RZA was listening to people chirping in his ear when he was making the 36 chambers? No, he was locked in his basement, bro. Yeah, going hard.
He got a Hulu show about it, about how hard he went.
I know, that's what I'm saying. And I was just at the show, and it's just like, man, you know, like art is timeless if you make something good. And that's the thing. If you care the most about the product, you know, and you make that so authentic and so true, people can't take that from you.
No, yeah.
You know?
I've always wondered like how you have been able to, you know, keep culture, you know, around you and like within the book, within, you know, I feel like you are, like people tell me I'm outside. You are outside.
You think so?
Yeah.
I try.
I feel like you're, but like I always tell people like, you know, I try to be intentional. Yeah. Like I'm not at everything, but it does look like I'll be at everything. Yeah. But like if it's like, yo, you get invited, you know, but usually if I'm invited, you're there. So
I don't know, maybe. You know, I always feel like I could be doing more, you know? So I think that's nice to hear because sometimes I'm very hard on myself and I'm like, oh, I'm not doing enough. I could be at this, I could be at that. But it's exhausting, you know? Sometimes you got to take time for yourself and really, you know, work on yourself, and being outside all the time is exhausting.
It's very exhausting.
You know, and I'm a very social person, you know, so I like that. I like that environment. But what I'm finding in my old age, like the more I do lectures and talk and all this stuff, the more I turn into an introvert when I'm not doing those things. So I just want a break, you know? Yeah. Because you can't be on all the time. So
I've been like, when I go home, I don't talk to anybody. I'm like, just leave me alone.
See, I just figure you talk all the time.
No. I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna put on some headphones and just shut up. Like,
yeah, there has to be some balance, you know?
Yeah.
It's like you got to charge up for next time.
It is crazy when I'm like, the week is like, all right, 2 podcasts, 3 outdoor things.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, cool. Sunday, I'm like, I don't want to talk to anybody. Just I'll put on the wire and just let me rock. Yeah. You know? Like,
nah, there's got to be some balance.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, whatever it is, like there's different forms of meditation, whether you go for walks or you listen to music or whatever, you got to have some time where you just, you know,
yourself.
Chill. Yeah.
Like but yeah, I'm very curious about like the culture, you know, like the how do you absorb it as like what I mean,
I've always been a culture junkie, you know, like ever since, I don't know, early MTV video music box, like I just consume it.
Video music
box, bro. Like Ralph McDaniel, like I consume culture. So like when people tell me to put my phone down because I'm scrolling Instagram and stuff like that, I'm like, yo, this is how I've been doing this, you know?
Yeah.
Like my screen time's been up. Yeah. It just wasn't logged in a phone. You know what I mean? But like, you know, we had like, I mean, I just always have been a fiend, like whether it was wrestling, comic books, you know, He-Man, like whatever, like I've always been interested in whatever the culture's doing. And that could be a lot of different things. Like I'm not on this Labubu wave, but like I know of it. I know about it. You know what I mean? Like,
look, they're gonna hit you up soon. They're gonna be like, "Hey, we need the best."
I'm here for it. You know, like Pop Mart, come holler at me.
Yeah.
But you know, I just love it, and it keeps me young. You know, like it makes me feel like I am like when I was a kid, and like anything that was new coming out, we used to joke. My friend group would be like, "Nah, you're not up on this." Like that was the line. Like you don't know about that new Nas. Like you're not up on that.
Yeah.
And it was like, wait, I like tell me. Like, put me up on that. Yo, like, nah. You're not up on that yet. You don't have that Mobb Deep demo? You don't know about that? Like, this was before Shook Ones Part 2 came out. You don't have that Mobb Deep demo? And was like, yo, I gotta have that Mobb Deep demo. And so like, you know, I try to be ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
And it's tough, man. Like,
especially now, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really tough. Like, you know, it's like a new hip hop album that comes out every minute.
Yeah, for sure.
I just can't be up on all, and a lot of it's garbage. But you know,
that it's funny because you say that, and I do feel like that's a lost art. Cause like my biggest thing, if we're friends, right? I'm
putting them on. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I got, my homie. Yeah. Like we always send albums, and it's like, what do you think of the new one? It's kind of whack. There's a couple bangers, you know, But yeah, I got to stay up on top of it, and there's too much content. So if someone can filter that for me, you know, you're just helping out.
There's an app. There's an app being made right now. you just got an app made for you.
Yeah, my friend the DJ or something.
It's interesting to see, because I'm very curious about this, because you, as like trying to be part of be part of the culture,
yeah,
you know, and also educate people on how to stay, you know, not being broke,
yes,
you know, not get sunken under the culture,
yes,
you know, because there has been a lot of like, oh, you know, somebody's biting this or doing that, and so that we see a lot of people just claiming that, oh yeah, you're taking my shit, or like, you know, we got corporations being like, yeah, we're just stealing straight off of the backs of somebody that's posting regularly on Instagram. So like, how do you communicate that to, like, you know, the younger generation, especially when you're doing these, like, you know, the seminars and teaching in schools? I
mean, well, there's infringement, like that's unlawful when you steal someone's idea.
Yeah.
And then there's biting, right? Yeah. Like, you know, and I came up in an anti-biting culture.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's just an unwritten rule. Like, you just don't steal somebody's shit, you know, whatever it is. And so I believe in being original and being authentic and all that stuff. But there are guidelines, there are legal guidelines to what you can take and what you can't take. And so, and I try to teach people the gray areas of that, you know, like there's inspiration and then there's stealing. You know, some people are like, oh, what's this Virgil Abloh's 5% rule, you know? So if I only change 5%, I'm good. And it's like, no, it's not, that doesn't always work. And you have to remember, like, Virgil was changing 5%, but he had a license to do so. Like, if he changed 5% of an Evian water bottle and changed the label up a little bit, he had done that deal with Evian. He had permission to do that. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean that you can go out and buy an Evian bottle and start making your own Evian water. You know? So and this is what we try to do, is educate people on the sort of guideposts for all this stuff. But, you know, when it comes to like just general movement, I try to be true to that anti-biting culture and like, you know, just have respect for other people that have paved the way, you know? You know, like, I think there's that skater that just I was just, that's where this question's coming from. Yeah. Somebody hit me up about that yesterday.
Stevie Williams and Eric Costin, but like Welty did he had a sat down with him, kind of whatever, phone call. And wrote about like that beef that they had. And
it's unfortunate.
It is, but the way he was saying, when I read it, it was more of like, oh, I was just trolling them back.
Oh, all right.
And so I was like, okay. But then he also said that,
which you should do. We should keep people honest.
Yeah.
And probably the people at Nike marketing came up with the slogan. They were like, oh, this seems pretty cool. And nobody knew, you know?
I mean, yeah, that can also happen too. I don't know either. I don't know, like, I wasn't there type of thing.
Yeah.
But like, I do think that, you know, he definitely should have gotten credit in the beginning. And
what do you mean by that? Credit, like, in the beginning?
Because like, until that video, because they used his video to show him skating,
right? And
then his biggest hang up is that his phrase that he says in the video is what is like,
what is it, eat, pray, love, or something like that?
Basically, see, eat, skate, sleep. I don't know, something like that.
Skate, sleep, repeat.
Yeah. Suplex City. Yeah. And so he was saying that, oh, you know, I didn't see that part of the video,
right,
in this interview,
right.
And I'm like, all right, like, but you gave approval on the video though.
Yeah.
So,
well, this is what we try to educate people, is like, if you did come up with a slogan that you coined, that you think is culturally moving and like effective, then trademark that.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he didn't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, you can't cry over spilled milk later.
Yeah.
Years later.
Yeah.
You know, if you really are about that and you really put that down as your slogan, then you should march into the trademark office and start making some t-shirts, you know, or like doing something. And this is how we learn to commercialize things that we innovate.
Yeah.
And so that's the I think the takeaway from it. And it's not to reduce his cultural significance of what he's done, because everybody will look to him and say like, yeah, you were that first dude. But being that first dude is one thing, and like profiting off of it is another.
Mhm.
And some people feel icky about that. And they're like, well, I'm not that kind of dude. Like, it's like, all right, but then don't be upset when somebody else steps in.
Yeah. That's like the biggest hang up, I guess, that I'm having with this too. Yeah. Cause like I read
it's tough. I feel for dude.
I feel for him too. But like if he's saying, cause when I read it, he's saying like, nah, it's good. I'm good. And I'm like,
if that's cool, then
yeah.
I mean, that's a true skater's mentality.
Yeah.
It's like, you take a fall, you get up and keep it moving.
Yeah, exactly. I think maybe there's one part that I did not enjoy reading was that like he thought it was fine until people was hitting him up.
Yeah.
And I was like, you could have still just been like, it's fine. But
I get that though. Yeah. Cause it's like, oh, I wasn't that incensed about it, but now my man just hitting me like, yo, how they play you like that, bro? And like you're like, nah, you're right.
Yeah, you're right. Now you get egged on. Oh, word? That's what they said? All right.
I'm gonna see those. I'm gonna see them.
Yeah. All right then. Then you get the all right then.
Yeah, a lot of this is pride and ego and stuff like that. It's like, sometimes we create ideas and we don't always think about the profit, and that's love, like I think sometimes we just create for the sake of it. And this goes across industries and disciplines, but other times it's like, if you have something that is special, fight to protect that.
Fight to protect it for sure. Which I definitely think he did. I just feel like they could have, like, if that's the case, then put him in the damn.
Well, let's play the tape. Let's say he came up with this slogan, immediately ran to the trademark office, got protection for it, and it was out there being used. Nike would not have used that
definitely
slogan.
Wouldn't. No, definitely wouldn't. They wouldn't pay zero homage.
No, they would have found something else. It wasn't that integral to the campaign.
Yeah, exactly. They were going to sell 95s regardless.
Regardless,
man. But now we're towards the end of the podcast, and it deals with a little visualization. I want you to think back to when you were younger you. And
I think about that all the time. I'm living it.
Yeah. Now he's about to open that box of the fives. Now you're
smell it.
Now you're you. Travel back in time behind yourself, your younger self. What would you tell your younger self as he opens that box?
I would say, keep this same energy, like, and I have, I can tell you exactly what that felt like at that moment then. And I can tell you what every moment of every pair of sneakers I opened up was like. Like, it's that real to me. And sometimes people that don't get it, they're just like, oh, look at Kenneth in his cute little sneakers, or they laugh. Like, what's the big deal? Like, you're a grown ass man. Why do you have so many sneakers? It just makes me feel good, bro.
That's all
it's like, I know guys that buy drivers, and I know guys that buy wine and stock their cellar with wine and like watches or whatever. This is what makes me feel good. And when I opened up that pair, first of all, a lot of people don't know those fives came in a Mylar bag, bro. Like it was like this Mylar wrapping. And I haven't seen that in many Jordans since.
Well, I never, I'm saying like I actually opened the box. No, I have not.
No. And it was just like, it was a special moment. And it was like, I think if you're waiting as a kid so long for something so special and you treasure it in that way, you're going to keep that. And that's why people are like, well, why don't you mess up your sneakers? Or what's the big deal? Like if somebody steps on the back of your shoe when they're walking too close to you, it's like, nah, bro, like you don't understand. Like I live for this, like this is me. Yeah. And it's so much fun. And like, when I hop on Zoom, I got the whole wall of sneakers. Like it just makes me happy. So I surround myself with the things I love and I feel good about it. It's like, if you want to go play golf all day, like do you.
Yeah, for real.
You know what I mean? So if I could visualize, like I would tell myself, everything's going to be all right, bro. There's going to be many more of these moments.
They covered.
Yeah, because I thought this is as good as it's going to get. You
thought you peaked right there. You was like, that's it. It's never happened again.
No, and the funny thing is, just related to that is I went to law school and I moved in with my wife, and I had a lot of sneakers, but we had a very small studio apartment in Brooklyn Heights, and I had to get rid of a lot of these sneakers. Damn. And she was like, yeah, we just don't have the room. And I was like, I'll do it. That's what we do for love. You know?
Exactly.
But little did she know I was going to rebuy those sneakers years later. She would have never made me throw those out because I know how my wife thinks. And I bought them all back, bro, and then some.
You hear
the way I say that?
Yeah.
Like, it's like,
that was the, all right, then. All right, I'll take it away.
We'll see then.
Yeah.
Yeah, facts. But, that's the love, it's like, it's all going to work out. You didn't get that pair of shoes, it's going to come back around. You didn't get those undefeated 4s, you might have a shot. 150,000 pairs.
Well, I struck out twice, so we'll see.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. There's always StockX.
Yeah, I'm definitely not doing it for those. But let everybody know where to find you.
Yeah, I'm on IG, Kenneth Taught Me, LinkedIn, Kenneth Taught Me, Sneaker Law, sneakerlaw.com. You know, we're out here, we're outside, you know how we do.
Yes, cop the book.
Yeah.
When's 3 coming out?
Oh man, not for a minute. You see how big that book is, bro? You know how much work goes into that? Like, that is really the Bible for the sneaker industry.
Yes.
And a lot of love and time and just passion went into that. There's a hidden sticker page inside. Like, so when you were a kid and you had those sticker books, like imagine like you're in class in law school and you open up a book and there's stickers inside. Like, nobody's doing this shit like us.
Nobody's doing it, man. This is amazing. Thank you so much
for
pulling up.
Yeah, it's love.
Yeah. Oh, I still got to do my outro. You know where to find me. I am Who Is Haas on all social media. Follow the podcast at My First Kicks Pod. If you have a story, hit me up. info@myfirstkicks.com. I'm going to pass it off over to me for the Patreon shout outs. So peace.
I hope you enjoyed that episode with Kenneth. I mean, we got to learn about his journey through sneakers, some crazy stories, you know, of him growing up, and also just like dropping, you know, everything to become a lawyer, right? Like crazy, right? But of course, we got Patreon shout outs. And my whole plan with this one was I was actually, and this is why it's in this format, because I was actually going to do it at the J-Tips pop-up, and I messed that up. I got out there and I was like, yeah, this is going to be dope. Let me do it. And then I just started getting into conversation after conversation. So, you know, shout out to J-Tips. Go visit the pop-up, the Savior pop-up with StockX. Free plug. I don't know. But I'll be there sometimes. I'm definitely trying to go there today. I might grab some content or something like that for the Patreon. But let's do the Patreon shout-outs. So shout out to Adam Newstetter, which re-subbed at the $5 tier. So shout out to you, man. Appreciate you for starting us off, like I said, and I say each and every week. We got Ross Adams next, then Derek, aka Fresh Poetic. Shout out Derek, Adam Butler, and Just CG, Jesse. I'm at 5 Patreon subscribers right now. I'm still looking to get to 10 so I can do a Patreon exclusive episode. You know, one of suggestions, and if you want to add suggestions on the Patreon, definitely sign up for Patreon. You can do that. I know I got like 10 free subscribers on there. Just know there's not going to be anything free on there. This whole episode is free, so there is no free tier. We've got 2 tiers, $3 tier, $5 tier. $5 tier is a lot more inclusive of everything else that, you know, I'd be mentioning or, you know, trying to include, because, you know, that's the higher part of it. And $3, you just get a shout out at the end of every episode, like this, like the last 5 people names that I've mentioned. So just want to make sure, you know, everybody knows patreon.com/myfirstkicks. And if you want to check out more episodes just like the one you just watched here, you got these 2 videos right here, and hit that subscribe button as well. And don't forget, wear your kicks. Peace.